so I didn't even look at it yet.
All right, we are live. Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Spirit Uncuffed. I love this uncuffed energy as we've already come in. Somebody brand new was like, I'm new, what are the rules? And I was like, it's uncuffed. And on top of that, every Sunday isn't different, but this Sunday is going to be different. So if you've been here before and you think you've got expectations about what we do, now is not the day. We often have music, and today's theme, our theme for the month, the global themes, the Centers for Spiritual Living has a team of people that come together and identify what the global themes are, where centers have the option of choosing to align with the global themes or choosing not to. And the culture of this community was already about the global themes. I had been on the global themes team, so we just continue to let it ride. And this monthly theme is What If, and today's weekly theme is being a possibilitarian. So possibilitarianism looks like exploring what uncuffed means differently just this week. We'll see how everybody feels. This is going to be a slimmed down version online, and we're going to do something different in the room. So those of you who are here in person get your own unique special experience. So we're going to start with prayer. What we call in the Centers for Spiritual Living, prayer is another term. It's called spiritual mind treatment. And there are 5 steps. In fact, Reverend Lynn is teaching a class called The Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment that she's going to be talking about a little bit later. And these 5 steps are explained and explored within that class. And what I really like about spiritual mind treatments is that these 5 steps are a guide. We don't say, if you miss this step, you've done the prayer wrong and now it doesn't count. That it serves as a sense of direction for people who are interested in exploring what prayer means for you. This just gives you some context. So the 5 steps of prayer. First step is recognizing that spirit is all there is. Spirit is a synonym for energy. That's what I really like, that the Centers for Spiritual Living is intended to be inclusive, so that your understanding of spirit may be different from somebody else's, but somebody who does not believe in the concept of spirituality at all whatsoever. Energy is a great word, and we all know and understand that energy is all that there is. In the universe, the entire universe, energy is literally all that there is. So that's step 1, is recognizing that. Step 2 is because energy is all there is, that is what we are. Step 3 is affirming whatever it is that we are affirming together. 4 is gratitude, and 5 is release and letting the universe do what it does with it. So I'm going to invite you to join me in starting this uncuffed experience in prayer by getting comfortable in your seats, settling into your bodies. Bring your conscious attention and awareness to the breath, recognizing that this breath is a metaphor for energy itself. It is a reminder of the fact that whether we are conscious of it or not, that we are always breathing. And at any given time, we could just take a moment and stop and celebrate the experience of the breath. And I'm grateful for each one of us who has shown up in person or online for this sacred Spirit Uncuffed experience today. Knowing and trusting that it is everything it needs to be for each person, and that the impact that it makes allows for us to inspire our communities and our world around us. Grateful for who we are, for our decision to show up for this, and for that divine ripple that takes place. And I'm grateful to trust and know that Spirit does what needs to be done with this prayer. Grateful that Larry is joining us now. And in gratitude, I invite us to close this prayer however you are most comfortable. I choose to close by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
All right, so as I said, we've got a little slimmed down version today, and so our session flow looks a little thinner than normally, because what we're doing online is going to be different. So we start, I didn't even change this. Gina Renee was scheduled to do our sound bath today, and she had COVID, so Tasha filled in for her, and I did not change it on the slide. So Tasha led our sound bath today. Then our next step is to affirm our vision and mission together, and I always say, if it does not resonate with you, feel free not to affirm it and let us know your feelings about it after the fact. In fact, we'll have a little group chat, so that'll be a perfect opportunity to express your feelings about the vision and mission there. Then I'm going to give you some updates about what the community is offering in the coming weeks. Bekah Jane is our speaker today, so she's going to speak on our theme, being a possibilitarian. Then we're going to do a little conscious giving and close out with our group chat. So right after, I would say around the conscious giving, we're going to push stop on the camera, and then we're going to circle up and have a group chat in the room about what being a possibilitarian means to us, our thoughts on Bekah's talk, so Bekah gets to hear in real time what you feel, and have our group chat. That's what we're doing differently this week. And if you have thoughts about the group chat, that'll be a good time to share that as well, whether you like this, whether you want to do this more often or never again. That'll be a good time to say so. All right, so here is that vision and mission. I promised you that if it resonates, feel free to affirm it with me. We are
a loving, inclusive community, joyfully expressing spirit. We honor, celebrate, and support each individual's awakening to their spiritual magnificence. We empower each other to create happy, healthy, abundant lives.
All right, and so here is our, oops, I went too fast. This is, I'm going all kinds of fast. There we are. This is a list of the 39 tribes represented in Oklahoma, and I'm going to invite you to take a moment to just meditate on them. All right. So the art and science of spiritual mind treatment. Lynn, do you want to come up and talk about this a little bit?
I could do that.
All right.
I could do that. Hang on a second. Let me grab this too. Okay, so new class starting April 1st. April Fool's Day, but never mind that. Now, what makes this teaching so powerful is that we don't just have an idea of the presence of spirit in our lives, and isn't that a great thing to intellectually understand? We have tools in our toolbox for how to take ourselves and our lives and what's working for us and what's not working and rearrange that into a way that's more in alignment with that beautiful, big, good that we call spirit, that we call life, that we call energy. And our primary tool is spiritual mind treatment. So this class that I'm teaching, it's brand new material. I mean, we've always been teaching this, but this is a new class, 8 weeks long, diving into how to do this. And we'll be doing it together for 8 Wednesday evenings, all online on Zoom. Beauty of Zoom is we don't have to be in Oklahoma City to make it happen. We'll be inviting people in. I got one person in Hawaii that's going to be taking it with us. And one of the books that we'll be using is this 5 Steps to Freedom, which is John Waterhouse, who's one of my favorite CSL ministers, teaching us the 5 steps, but also diving into what is this whole thing that we're talking about anyway. So it's a really good beginning book, as well as being about how to do spiritual mind treatment. So this is last call for this class because it starts this coming Wednesday, along with last call, offering a special discount. If you decide to sign up, regular price would be $200, but when you go to the sign-up page on the website. The link for tuition has a drop-down on it, and there's a spot for continuing student or previous student, $150. Sign up, join me. Our cutoff is gonna be, I'm gonna say Monday night. If we don't know by Monday night that you're in, let's call it that. And then the first class is Wednesday night. Please join me. Thanks.
Thanks, Lynn. It's so funny, this class begins on my mom's birthday and ends on my birthday. Because I have nothing to do with these dates. It's just really funny how it worked out like that.
Except I double checked, and May 13th is only 7 weeks, so it really ends on May 20th.
All right, maybe that was why, which is my dad's birthday, so I don't know. That's the situation.
Within your family. You just answer prayer.
I guess so.
Okay.
So we are whole family family birthdays represented in this class. So we are, every year we host a leadership retreat. This year it's at Reverend Dr. Sue Ellen's house, so it's not on the internet. And if you're interested in attending, even if you've just walked in the room for the first time and you're like, what's that? If you are somebody that wants to have a voice on our structure of the ecclesiastical part of things, so that it's not just me doing this by myself, but there's some community voices, this is the thing to go to. We have a, this is not, wait.
Slide.
You went too fast.
I did go too fast again.
There
I go.
There you go.
Because it said potluck on there. We do a potluck on that Friday, so even if you're like, I don't really want to have a voice, but I'd like to sit down and get to know y'all, feel free to come hang out with us in the potluck on Friday night. And then Saturday, we have that full day of diving into all things related to our vision and mission and such. And still pushing too many buttons. And we've got like what I called it was potluck bread, because we've got a potluck on Friday and a potluck on Sunday and some numminess in the middle on Saturday. So after Spirit Uncuffed, we host a potluck on the first Sunday of every month, and that'll be our potluck right in here. All right. Bekah, you ready?
I'm ready.
Fantastic. Give it up for Bekah Jane.
Yay.
Bekah.
We may need to adjust the camera if she's going to sit down.
We'll see.
You see
You
me?
look all right. Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah.
I have my notes. And welcome. Our theme for this month has been What If? And the title for today is Being a Possibilitarian. And when I first heard that word last week, I was like, is that like vegetarian? Like it's a lifestyle? And I'm
Yes.
correct. It's a lifestyle. A possibilitarian is someone who lives in the space of possibility. Someone who believes that what does not yet exist is still worthy of our imagination. So I begin with a question. What if we let go of every illusion? What would we dream together? Our quote is, imagine a world where every person is a beloved, necessary expression of one spirit. No exceptions, no limits. Just the infinite possibility of love in action. And our affirmation for the day is, I live as proof that we are one spirit, limitless and loved. And it's a pretty idea, right? Like, who's going to reject that? Who's going to say, no, I'm not going to be a possibilitarian? So what's our issue? And our issue is that we hold one another in ego instead of spirit. You tell me I'm this and I'll tell you you're that. You tell me I'm funny and brilliant and I'll tell you you're wise and astute in your observations.
Of course.
Natural response. And we bond in this. We bond in our love of things and our disdain for things, for people, for places, things, and ideas. I love this so we can share space. You don't, so we can't. You hate that, so therefore we can't share space. And we isolate ourselves, and we isolate others. The moment someone suggests that we might not be what we say we are, or what we think we are, or what we believe we are, we're done.
And why? It's because a part of us knows that this is all an illusion. That I'm just playing a role. I'm just saying a line. And don't tell me that what I think isn't real. It's attachment. And it's avoidance. It's busy work. And we get angry and we think, how dare you break my illusion? And so we want to break theirs. And it's the cruelest thing we do to each other. So we begin to throw rocks through the windows of one another's inner temple. And it's what makes us fearful. It's what isolates us. It's what drives us away from community. And we do the same thing to our children. Don't hang out with this person because they believe this. Stay close to these people because they look like what we want to look like. And it becomes a systemic thing. These and those, us and them. And we separate it. And that's not how a possibilitarian lives. Eventually our souls start to believe that what we need is isolation when what we crave is community. But we think we need a community that tells us who we think we are. It's like we don't know what's good for us, and we tend to do what's worse. In my work as an herbalist, the thing people crave the most is usually the most destructive. They're allergic to gluten and they love bread. They're lactose intolerant and they love milk. And it's actually like scientific. Our body creates this histamine response to an allergy because your body's like, oh, we're dying, so we're going to make you happy while you do it. And so we get dopamine and we get serotonin and all of these happy hormones, even though it's to the detriment of ourselves. So we sit in our isolation and we think, I am wise and I am intelligent and no one can handle my light. That's why they stay away from me. Everything is reflection and projection. Anything that I see that I don't like is mirroring back something that I'm projecting onto something else. But we don't like to think of it that way. We still like to keep the ideas of their vibe is just off. My vibe is too high. It's all an illusion. It's a story we tell ourselves to keep ourselves separate. Possibilitarians know when something doesn't work, you try something different. Even if it does work, try something else. Finding God in all things is kind of a theme that I've made for my life the last few months. I found God in this, now what? We talked this morning about ecstatic dance was one of the first places that I got out of my head and into my body, and then it led me into breath work, and then breath work advanced me into more meditation, and it opened up a whole other community for me. And 3 years ago, I would have told you I was an introvert and I hate people. People are exhausting. I hated me and I was exhausting. I wore myself out with my mean, judgmental thoughts. And I projected that on everyone. And I would say, I don't want to be seen today. Just because I didn't want them to see who I actually was. Because I knew I wasn't my best self, to say the least. So what if we allow people to ask us questions? And alternately, what if we just accept people's answers? You tell me you are this, and I can see that you're not. It's part of your illusion. Who am I to break that illusion? Why can't I hold it for you? It's not for me to tell you the truth. You'll find it in your own time. No one's late. No one's behind. Everyone's integrating exactly like they're supposed to, just like I did. But we all think we need to rush other people. And why aren't you here yet? Who's to say they haven't been there and this is the next step and you're the one behind? We don't know anything. So we need to allow people to step into their truth just like we've been allowed to step into our truth. What if we allow them to criticize, even doubt us? Doubt our intentions, question our spirituality? What if instead of turning away from that, we allow the questions to travel deeper? Deeper than the role that I'm playing, deeper than my identity, deeper than my name, into the spaces where I know it's all an illusion. Where there are no labels. What if when someone questions us, we allow them to see us at a cosmic level The part that says, oh, you caught me. I see you and you see me, and none of this is real. Why aren't we just hanging out? Why am I criticizing your meat suit and the actions that it takes? It's none of my business, just like mine or none of yours. What if we allowed an illusion to soften? Instead of naming them the villain and ourselves the victim, we just sit together in genuine connection, realizing that we love them because we love ourselves, and their doubt only shows the gaps in that. And when I doubt you, it's the same thing. I'm lacking love. When I don't have enough to give someone else, it's because I'm not loving me. And if you can't love me, you can't love you. And that should spark within us compassion. When we have someone who's very combative, we should pull back and remember what it's like to suffer in that way. To feel isolated and to feel alone. Because as human creatures, that's part of this psychology that comes with us. We are pack animals. And the society that we have built has pulled a lot of us into isolation. When what we need is community. And we don't excuse harmful behavior, but we do make room for change. We love us and love them from a distance until we can adapt to each other's frequencies. Because every one of us is our best day and our worst day and every day in between. We are here to observe and to experience and to allow everyone else the same grace that we have learned to give ourselves. And this unites us. This is freedom and human grace. And there's a kind of freedom in holding no rigid expectations for other humans, to allow people their victories and allow them their shame with the same amount of grace. It's like, oh, you fucked up. Me too, I've done that before. You win. Excellent. Well done, you. And instead, we hold these things in our chest and we change our vibration and shift it around. And we build these illusions of who they think they are. I guarantee you everyone is exactly who they think they are in this moment. I'm who I think I am, and you are who you think you are, and it's not for me to say any different. And eventually, people begin to feel safer in our presence when we just exist, and we allow other peoples to exist in whatever space that they're in. Some hear us immediately, and some will take time, because their universe speaks at a different frequency, in a different language, a language written by their own life's pain. And it's not the same as ours. And we have to adapt and move around and give space and allowance. They're not wrong, they're not behind, they're integrating their own experience at their own pace. I talk of Ram Dass all the time. He's my emotional support dead guy. And Ram Dass was born Richard Alpert in 1937 in upstate New York to a middle-class Jewish family. His father was a lawyer, his mother was a homemaker, and he was set to be a psychologist, and he became that. He played that role well. He was Harvard trained, got a tenure at Harvard, but he was miserable. And he was neurotic, and I feel that. And LSD broke his illusions for him, showed him a world beyond what he knew he knew. And he's what helped bring in a new way of spiritual thinking for the United States. He went to India. He met his guru, Neem Karoli Baba, who named him Ram Dass, which is servant of God. And he came home, and he speaks of this frequently. And I love his humor because we match. And he's like, and his father would call him Ramdam and say, "Do you have a job yet?" And he'd say, "I can't go home. It brings me down." And I hear that because there are some people I don't want to talk to because they don't tell me that I'm brilliant, and they don't tell me that I'm interesting. They tell me that I'm a spiritual bullshitter and a pseudo-psychiatrist. And I have to sit with that and think, what do I want this relationship to look like? And he modeled for me his example of making jelly with his dad. They decided to make jelly. They had some plum trees or pear trees or what have you, and that's all that they did. And they followed the recipe, and they had the same goal. The The goal was to make the perfect jar of jelly. And so they followed the rules and they shared their space. And it was a beautiful experience, and he decided that that needed to be the goal. The goal for him was connection. Not for his father to say, you are brilliant and look what you have done for all of these people. And he had to allow his father to mock him, to not take it seriously, to not take him seriously, to laugh at his work and mock where his heart was. But he wanted that relationship with his father, and it was more important than the illusion he was holding of himself. And because he learned to adapt, to meet his father, higher self to higher self, and talk about the weather and the local sports team and the things that didn't interest him, because what was important was the connection. And in return, he got to sit with his father as he died. He was his caretaker for his father, his mother, and his stepmother. And I'm a deaf doula. And I know when you stand at that threshold with anyone, whether you know them or not, everything falls away. All of the illusions go. And because he was willing to let go of his illusions early on, he got to watch his father's illusions fall away, where they were connected as one. Had he held his ideas, he would have missed out on that. And I don't say this to make you have any regrets, but think of what we could miss out on if we don't just allow people to see us for what they think we are. And we meet them where we're at, which is just love. Not the illusion, not the ego, not the I'm the wise one here to tell you that. Just let's hang out. Let's hold space together. And we have to live, some of us, with the knowledge that we are a disappointment to our families. We don't look like what they wanted us to. We don't say the things they taught us to say. And we're not allowed to be disappointed about that with them either. And that's sticky. That's hard. To say, how dare you not see me? But then I realize I'm not really seeing them either. They just want normal. They just want what's comfortable. And I'm giving them discomfort in busloads. So I learned to soften and to talk about the weather. To catch up on local sports teams and things that interest them. Because what I have to say isn't for them. And it doesn't make them bad, and it doesn't make them dumb, and it doesn't mean that they hate me. It just means they don't understand the same frequency that I'm at. Just like I don't understand where they're at. And it's so easy when we hear of possibilitarian and loving all people. We're like, of course. And what we're picturing are the homeless, the children in Gaza, the people suffering in Palestine. It's so easy to love them, to love the suffering and the strangers. When what we struggle with is our family. We don't internalize it that way. And I was talking to Tasha this morning, our cells mimic our universe. And it's symbolic of the as above and so below. Everything is a mirror and a reflection outwards. If I'm struggling with someone in my life, it's because I'm struggling in here. We watch this Muppet show that we have going on in our socio-political climate right now, and we think, where did this come from? Us. We created this with our avoidance and our, what does my vote count? Apparently a lot, turns out. And we can be angry and we can rage against this machine, and we're not wrong. There's a lot of righteousness in anger, but it's that golden chain that tethers us. And it's pure and it's beautiful, and it is our most valuable earthly material, but it's earthly material. And it ties us into this psychology that keeps us separate. Because righteous anger is the penultimate gate. It's the gate before the last one, where we are all one. You have to let go of that anger that you have that is right, that your psychology tells you you should cling to because we've been taught this way, and I am the product of how, and it's so sticky. Wash it off your fingers and wipe it off your shoes. It tracks all over, and we pass it on to our children. We're just trying to understand one another through the lens we're given. and strangers with no expectations of us are easier to love. Ernest Holmes says, all the power of the universe is within you. Feel it, know it, and act as though it were true. I speak to this frequently, that life is a ritual. Our higher self responds to ritual. Even if you don't want to do something, if you want to get in shape and you want to do these things, what do? We eat right, we get up in the morning, we go work out. And our bodies eventually start to show that routine, that ritual that we're doing. And that works on a cellular level. Believing in yourself, changing your behaviors, knowing that these things can be true repeatedly matters. Because the universe will see, every time I step out into community, even though my head will be like, somebody's going to be a jerk, and oh my goodness, my hair, and all of these things. Every time I step out anyway, and I smile in front of the camera, and I shake everyone's hands, and I connect with them in love, I'm showing my higher self that this is what I want. I don't want isolation. I healed in isolation, but I'm growing in community. I don't want to be alone, and I don't want anyone else to feel alone. If we want something different in this world, the ritual begins inside. We imagine, we speak, we act, and in time, reality begins to rearrange itself around these now patterns of behavior. Holmes also said, imagination and faith are the secrets of creation. Possibility begins in our imagination, but it grows through our faith. You can think it, but until you're acting, it doesn't really feel real. You have to move through space with people. You have to actually sit with them. And as the judgments come up, you have to let them fall away. Remember, it's projection and reflection. What am I projecting? What are they reflecting? I don't actually hate anybody. I hate me. And the more I work on loving me and accepting every part of myself, the one that makes mistakes and says the wrong thing, does the wrong thing, like, that was an experience, now what? And allow that for everyone else. People who come to me who make hard decisions that cost them valuable relationships. I'm like, well, that was an experience. Now what are you going to do? I can sit with you in your grief, and you can grieve for as long as you feel you need, but I'll be here when you're ready to stand up too. And so I return to the question we started with. What if? What if we stop defending the illusions we carry about ourselves? What if we allow one another to question, stumble, doubt, and grow? What if we allow and truly believe that every person is a beloved, necessary expression of one spirit? No exceptions, no limitations. And if that were true, what would we dream together? What would be possible? This is possible. This is what comes from that belief. And so I have our affirmation and a final thought. The affirmation is, I live as proof that we are one spirit, limitless and loved. And my thought is, maybe being a possibilitarian simply means that we begin living in such a way that other people begin to believe it too.
Thank you, Bekah. I'm thinking about the meat puppet show. Reminds me of the two guys in the balcony talking mess during the Muppets, and like that's what all of Facebook is right now. That's what we got going on. Each week we've been taking a piece from the Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving address, and this just happens to be where we are. And I'm going to invite you to affirm that together. We now send greetings and thanks to our eldest brother, the sun. Each day, without fail, he travels the sky from east to west, bringing the light of a new day. He is the source of all the fires of life. With one mind, we send
send greetings and thanks to our brother the sun. Now our minds are one.
All right, and so for our conscious giving, there's a few ways. Mary Lee has a basket that she's gonna go around with, and she's gonna invite you to put some kind of energy in that basket. Maybe it's some love energy. Maybe it's financial energy out of your pocket. She's gonna go around and do that. And if you are the kind of person that does not carry cash in your pocket, like me, there's a couple of other ways to contribute to the spiritual community continuing to serve within Oklahoma City. One way is text to give. You text the number, say it's $10, so you text the number 10 to this phone number, and it'll ask you some questions. Once you do set up the text to give one time, it remembers you forever. So you get to just send whatever number, and sometimes each time it'll say, are you sure you want to do this? Or like, hit this number if you want a refund. And you never have to answer any questions again. And if you go through our website, unitedlife.org, if you're watching online, there's a donate button on the website, and there is this QR code that takes you directly to our donation page. So, now it's time for our group chat. I'm actually going to leave this up in case. And for those of you online, I'm going to bid you farewell. We're going to engage in a practice, an unrecorded practice, an uncensored, uncuffed practice in the room to help empower people to feel like they get to say what they want to say and know that it's not on the internet for all to be seen. So we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see y'all next week.